Morning! I made this just for you, for your hip pain, so you can follow along your very own yoga video. So, starting an easy pose, not so easy for a lot of people with hip pain. You can prop up on a pillow if you've got, you won't have a block, but prop up on something if that's a little bit too much. And for the knees can also hurt here, so you can put a pillow either side of those knees just to keep you a little propped up. But one stretch that we can start with, just make sure your spine's all warmed up here. You can even do a little twist actually, because that's really good for stress anyway. And a lot of hip pain can be referred pain. So one main stretch that I would try doing, sitting in easy pose, is just with your spine nice and long, inhale and exhale, just to forward fold over the legs like that. You should feel that in the hips. Stay there for a few breaths. Breathing to go a little deeper. Slowly push yourself up. We're going to lean back and swap the legs the other way. Long spine, exhale, go forward. And slowly come up. So you can do that as many times as you like if that feels really good for those hips. Next pose I'd like you to try is what we call a bit of a hero pose, or it's an amended hero pose actually. So we're just going to sit right up on those hips and just sort of, if this is no good on your knees, you can have a blanket here. And we're just going to bend backwards nice and slow. Don't go too far so that it hurts your back or anything, but you can also support your lower back here by putting your hands in there. Just give that a little back bend. And breathe into that. You should feel some nice lengthening there. And then come forward. Spread the legs a little bit wide here, down into child's pose. So you should feel again those hips opening here. It even is nice on the shoulders and the back. And gently push yourself up. Legs come together again. Make sure there's a blanket there if that's too strong, and we'll just go back the other way. Supporting your lower back here, or the back tops of the hips. Slowly come up. So from here, going to do pigeon, which you may have heard of. Now you can do a couple of variations depending on how sore your hips are here. So we're basically putting one knee forward and our leg back. But that might be too strong for you, so you can have one leg bent. This angle of this leg here can be a little triangle, or it can almost be a right angle. Just find what's right for you. And then we're just going to angle that hips down. So you want the hips to be sort of perpendicular to the mat. Just see if you can feel that lovely out stretch on the outer side of the hip there. You can stay upright, or you can go all the way down. Now, you can actually prop yourself up here as well if that is too strong. So you want it, this is like the best hip opener there is. So you want to make yourself comfy here for a good 3 or 4 breaths. You can even sort of move it around to get that real spot. It should feel nice right up inside of the hip there. And we'll go the other way. Just swapping those legs around. Like I said, you can just stay here. That can sometimes be enough to open that hip. Or if the leg can go back, that's great. Move that foot forward or back, depending on what that feels like. And then stay upright if that feels good, or you can go all the way down, which really gets into that deep outer hip there again. You could stay here and watch television, really. You don't actually, the longer the better. If you're stretching the fascia, which is for longer stretches, like 3 minutes, that's incredibly good for sitting at work, but you do it at the end of the day, not at the beginning of the day, really long, sitting in a pose for a long time. And the other one I'd like you to try is bridge, because you've got to strengthen and lengthen those hip flexors. So it's simply lying on the ground, getting those heels close to your butt, and then tilting the pelvis all the way up, and then slowly coming down. So you'll do this several times, and then you can also hold. So angling up, breathing here, all the way down. Slowly, you want to see that curvature of the spine, and we're also helping those hip flexors open up. If you're getting any knee pain, just sort of adjust those legs out a bit further and make sure they're not stretching out, just keep them perpendicular. You can even breathe with your arms, which actually feels nice. And then slowly coming up. One last one for you to try. If you do this every day, I'd be interested to see if that pain at work at the end of the day was the same. So just again from that kneeling position, we're going to do a lunge. So 1 foot forward, make sure the knee doesn't go too far over the ankle. So and then you should feel that stretch there and opening up the hip. So don't let the knee come out too far, make sure it's right on top of the ankle there, and it can even go further if you're feeling that stretch. Breathe into it. And then come back. Do the other side. Knee over ankle. And just stretching there, making sure the hips are facing forward. You should feel that opening up that front side of the hip. You can adjust as needed. Now I would do this probably 3 times on each side. If you're feeling that really feels good, you can take it one step further into what we call lizard, which is the same as that lunge, but you just move the foot and the knee out, and you should be able to put your both hands on the ground. So it's an even deeper stretch in the hip and the outer hip. That's lizard. That's a really good one. So again, it's like a lunge like that, except we walk that foot out a bit further so you can get that really nice opening. Now, if any of these are hard on your wrist, put a pillow down. You can actually do this leaning on a chair. So if you don't want to lean like that, you can just lean on the side of the couch or a chair. Blocks if you have them. But yeah, so you can do those ones. And if any of your knees hurt in those lunges, just put a pillow under it. They will get used to it once they warm up. It won't hurt them if you make sure they're supported. And just don't push too far. And holding and breathing is the key.